All right, friends, pour one out for the death of Apple. 1984 Los Angeles Raiders versus the Washington football team. A little Super Bowl ad comes on where a company says, "Don't let 1984 be like 1984." And that young startup company said they would change everything, and they did. And now that young company, Macintosh, is finally going down. Thanks to Fortnite, of course.
So, Greg, many of us remember the year of 2017 as the year the genre Battle Royale was invented by PUBG and how it was overtaken by this little game called Fortnite. Many of you will remember that Fortnite released originally as a single-player campaign mode to less than fanfare. And the game was kind of failing, and they looked over at what PUBG was doing, and they said, hey, let's make a mode like that. We'll put it out free to play. It was late September, and I remember you came to my house for your birthday weekend, and we played Fortnite that very opening weekend, Fortnite Battle Royale, and it was amazing. And everybody was equally terrible at it, so we actually kind of did okay. And from that point, we kind of put it down for a while, and we saw it take over the world to the point where it is very much a part of gaming culture, and it's transcended that, and many, many people know what Fortnite is. And now we are in a position where we get to see Fortnite and Epic battle Apple and Google.
You know,
who do you think will win? And give us a little background on this whole thing. What has happened over the past couple of days, Greg?
I'm young, but not quite young enough to know if I'm definitely saying this right, but I believe the term is Fortnite is about to have an epic victory royale over the tech giants, Apple and Google, and it could not have come at a better time. So what we're seeing, what we've always seen, is these Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. They allow app developers to put up their app for extremely cheap. I mean, might as well be free. And in exchange, if you sell something through the app, or if you sell the app itself, those app stores will take a 30% cut. And in the case of Apple, that's the only way officially to get apps onto your phone. It's kind of crazy, right? 30% of every dollar you make scraped off to Apple or Google. Now, in Google case, you can sideload and you can go through some sketchy ways and get viruses on your phone. If that's your hobby, for most people, it's not. So we finally have a company willing to stand up to these tech giants and say, you're not doing 30% of the work here. Why are you taking 30% of my money? See, Epic has all of this extra money laying around like a dragon on their den of cash, and they've been thinking for a while, what should we do with this? We could do whatever we want. We got the Fortnite money, right? Well, they finally decided, let's spend all of it on lawyers to attack Apple and Google, the two biggest companies in the world. Who doesn't like an underdog story, Jason?
I agree with you. I kind of do like the underdog story, but I somewhat have to disagree in the sense that I don't think there are any heroes here for the consumer. Obviously, these companies are acting out of self-interest. It's interesting to see people rally around Epic, and I kind of understand why they're doing it. But at the same time, I can't help but think, we saw this past week, what Epic did was they essentially created a payment method within the Fortnite app on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store that circumvented the payment methods to go through the app. Now, obviously, that is an egregious violation of the terms of service for having an app up on the store, and it was rightfully taken down. It was an unapproved feature that got uploaded without approval. Now, Apple will cite some kind of weak argument as to like this is unsafe and this is what all of our developers are subject to. But at the end of the day, it's all about the money, right? So I don't necessarily think Apple was wrong and Google was wrong in taking it down, but you're just seeing these companies in a pissing match over who's going to get those couple of dollars. And if this was evidenced by, if you want evidence of this, further evidence of this, just look at the way Epic has monetized this. Apple takes 30%, right? So look at $10 for 10 V-Bucks. That's how it works. Apple's taking 30%. Epic says, well, hey, we'll sell it to you for $8 if you buy it through us. Where's that other dollar going? My point is they're pocketing it because they don't care about you as a consumer. They care about their own bank account, and that's it. And so like I don't necessarily think we should be cheering either of these companies on. I think if Epic can push the needle and do something in the way of consumer friendly, great. But at the end of the day, you're looking at these two companies battling out over percentages, and Apple and Google were right in taking down those apps because they did violate the terms of service.
Here's where you're definitely wrong. The consumer and Epic are on the same side here because you have to look at the economic reality for these companies, right? If I say I make this product and I expect to sell X number of units and I expect to get $7 back, right? That's what I need to be a profitable company. Well, for me to get $7 back, I have to sell my product for $10, right? So they have to inflate their prices to pay that 30% Apple tax. The reality is prices come down for us if Apple isn't just scraping off the top despite putting no effort in.
Do you really believe that would be the case, or do you think that they would just simply charge the same price? It's just Apple now gets less profit.
We're already seeing them do it. We're already seeing them say $8 if you come through us. That's what they're offering right now. And to further that, we have seen other examples of this. We have seen Audible.com, which is owned by Amazon, obviously. We saw them get in a big fight with Apple over this. And for a long time, you couldn't add an audiobook to your phone through the app. You had to go to the computer and do it because Amazon, the other richest company in the world, wasn't willing to give their little bitty slice to Apple. So this isn't the first time we've seen this fight, actually. But the point here is prices will come down if money isn't just magically disappearing as it is right now.
So my question to you is, are you saying that it was wrong for Apple and Google to remove Fortnite from their app stores, given the current environment and the agreement that they were in legally with?
You see what he's trying to do there, people. He's trying to say, given the current and legally, because he knows this is a lost argument on the moral ground. For you to say, I will do no work, but I will take 30%. It's laughable. Laughable.
So are you saying being on the App Store adds no value to the product for Epic?
I'm saying there's a limit. And I am saying their stringent rules violate antitrust laws. So yes, as their terms of service claims now, let's be real. Last time you opened a product and you scrolled through those terms of service, did you read everything in there? No. You don't know what you're agreeing to. The reality is these terms of services are only so binding. And I fully believe when they have their day in court, Epic will have an epic victory royale, as the kids say. And
you think they're gonna floss? You think they're gonna floss on Google? They're gonna floss all over them.
Floss all over them. GOOGLEs.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out because we've seen Apple involved in some other antitrust laws or litigation rather, but it's always been in a market that they're directly competing in. And so you see this with Spotify and Apple Music. And Spotify's case against Apple is, hey, listen, you can't charge me 30% for people paying through your App Store. And then you're going to sit there and directly compete with me with Apple Music and be able to make a larger margin on your product, the exact same product. So that one I get, right? And I think they have worked out some agreement where for the first year that someone subscribed to Spotify through, say, I think it's iTunes subscription, Apple gets 30%, and then every subsequent year it's only 15%. So my guess is that now that Epic's pursuing some sort of discounted deal like this, which it wouldn't be unheard of, right? And I think we've also seen a case where Apple is experimenting with other payment processing methods and allowing Amazon to use a proprietary credit card to do processing for Amazon Videos bought through in iOS.
Same situation as Audible there, yeah.
Right. So it's not insane. So I mean, I don't really know honestly what Epic's end game is here. But it will be interesting to see how all of this plays out. I do, like I said, I do think at this point, Apple and Google are doing what they feel they need to do to protect their business. And so, of course, they're going to do. They're not going to just sit there and because that is opening the floodgates, right? That is a slippery slope to just allow a single developer to do this and then anybody can do this, right? So there has to be this legal battle to set precedent.
Look, there is a reason that much bigger companies than Epic have bowed down and kissed the ring. Because the reality is, for the most part, I don't know anybody who's using a phone right now that isn't either using the Play Store or the Apple App Store.
Sure.
You absolutely cannot compete in the mobile app market without going through that duopoly. And these cases are set to be heard in American courts where we have a long history of breaking up monopolies such as this.
When's the last time we did that, though?
When's the last time we should have done it?
Exactly.
It was already to Apple and was already to Google and to Facebook at that.
And telecoms, really, if you look at these net neutrality things that have been going on the past few years.
And it's going to be a beautiful day to see somebody try and stand up. And at the very least, this is a headache for Apple and this is a headache for Google. Two companies that I respect and I love their products and I enjoy them. But you always have to be careful of how much power you're giving to such a small, select group.
And I agree with you, to be honest with you, because somebody has to check these companies. And if it's not going to be the U.S. legal system, then this is the way it has to be. Now, there are some interesting through lines with Tencent, a Chinese company's involvement with these litigation that's going to be pending. But it's going to be so interesting to see, and what the larger implication is, because you've seen Microsoft just be like, done, right? They tried to put Project xCloud on iOS, and Apple said you can't do it the way you want to do it, and they said, okay, well, we can't come to an agreement. It just simply won't be on there. And you've seen the same thing with GeForce Now, right? And you've seen the same thing with Steam in-home streaming. I mean, the bottom line is Apple treats gaming differently. I don't know why they don't directly compete with these. They do have a game subscription service, but it's totally different. And so what will the implication of this be on the larger gaming, platform on iOS and on the Google Play Store and in the mobile space? It will be super interesting to see how this pans out.
This is something that really has nothing, in my opinion, has nothing to do with video games, because at this point, it's hard to imagine any company that isn't in some way going through the App Store. I should have looked this up. I should have known this ahead of time. But if I'm ordering Chipotle through the Apple App Store, my current understanding is that Apple, if I'm paying through the app, is taking that cut still.
Well, that's interesting, because there's a McDonald's app, there's a Wendy's app. Are they getting 30% of that?
Those
Probably.
Industries can't, and how can those industries sit there and take a 30% knock, right?
Right.
So,
I mean, fast food's super tight margins. So.
Exactly. So this is really something that if mobile is the future, and with the future of 5G allowing distant computing power to put more power into our pocket, we are going to see more of our daily life and more of our daily computing power being stored on our phone. It's not inconceivable to see a day where my phone's connected to 5G, connected to a data center, And my phone is essentially my personal computer, and I could walk up to a dock it, go to my mouse and keyboard and all that.
And you've already seen this. A lot of people have been replacing their laptops with iPads and iPad Pros, right?
What's a laptop?
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, this has far-reaching implication, and I mean, there've always been drawbacks to walled garden, and I understand wanting to have a controlled ecosystem and not wanting it to be the Wild Wild West. That doesn't mean that means you can control it, right? That means you get to approve what's on there and what's not on there. That doesn't mean you get to make this much money off of it and give yourself a competitive advantage in the market you decide you want to compete in. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it pans out. I'm interested to see how it pans out. And I don't know that there's a winner and a loser here today. I guess we'll let Karch decide. It's kind of just more of a discussion than a debate, but nonetheless, there you go.
Yeah, real quickly, Apple's gonna win.
Yeah. Here's what I would say. I think they're gonna maintain their percentage cut for now, but I would not be surprised if Epic somehow maybe settles out of court for a cut, like a reduced percentage.
I don't think this can. If Apple bends and gives an inch here, on Epic does not have a claim that any other app doesn't have, is the reality.
I think they do. I think they have a volume claim.
There's other apps that push bigger volume. There's other apps
and those apps have gotten discounts. Spotify and Amazon.
All right. Very select few, but most do not. And I think the reality is, if they give in court and they set legal precedent that if you fight us on this, we can essentially hand you more money. They're going to fight this tooth and nail in court. It's one thing to negotiate something and not set precedent. It's another thing to have a court make a decision.
Well, and that's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if they settled out of court.
We'll see. As much as I would love to see the walled garden opened up a little bit, don't hold your breath on this one, people.
All right. Well, guys, we'll let Karch decide. He's going to decide who's going to win, Apple or Fortnite. That is all we have for you guys today. You take care. Please like and subscribe. Find us on all social media, especially Twitter at Never Free to Play. You all have a fantastic week. We will try, but we are never free to play.
Pour one out.
Pouring out, folks. Apple's dead, everybody. Apple's dead. It's over. Facebook will be dismantled. Instagram's shutting down. Twitter's never existed.
Mark Zuckerberg is a robot.
Mark Zuckerberg is a homeless robot.
Lizard person.
Sergey, what's-his-face, is going to have to launch himself to the moon with Elon Musk. They're going to have to start a new colony there because their only worldly possessions will be what's in that rocket ship, and they have nothing left because Epic has taken everything.
Yeah, and Jack is mind controlling us.
Who's Jack?
CEO of Twitter.
Oh, I mean, he kind of is, though.
No, but that one's real.
That one's real.
That's why I don't do Twitter.